Okay, Namisha, it's 6:03 on my side, so we'll get started. Do you want to have any introductory comments before I jump into our quick little presentation?
No, please feel free to start. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, for everybody on the call, my name is Jason Schlute. Um, I'm president of Compass Solutions. We're the third-party project management firm representing Arista Networks, who this project is about. Also on the call, we've got our architect team from LPA. And so there's 4 representatives from LPA. I think first off, I'd just like to start out by thanking Namisha for all the help to get us to this point. We all know that these projects always have a long timeline to get to this point, and the city of Santa Clara and all the departments have been very helpful to get us to this point. So thank you, Namisha, for helping us, like I said, get to this point in the project. The first thing I'd like to do, everybody should be able to see my screen, which shows an aerial view. Just wanted a quick introduction as far as Arista Networks is concerned. They're currently reside at 5453 Great America Parkway up here in the right-hand corner. That is close to 237 and on Great America. So they're basically moving pretty close as a crow flies, 0.6 miles away over here to Patrick Henry, 5200 Patrick Henry on the corner of Bunker Hill and Patrick Henry Drive. So, close proximity to what will be their new location. I'll flip to the first slide, second slide here. Currently, this is the building that sits at 5200 Patrick Henry. It's a single-story building, 93,000 square feet. It's currently unoccupied. If anybody's familiar with that area, it's a fairly dilapidated building. And so we're planning on, Arista Networks is planning on demolishing that building and building their new Santa Clara headquarters. Once we take that building down and go through demolition, the new building will be a 4-story office building over 1-story parking garage. The parking garage will be subterranean, but there will also be surface parking, as you can see here on the site plan. So to kind of get your bearings, you've got Patrick Henry that runs in the front, and on the back side, you've got the walking trail back there. This 4-story building, next slide, is a rendering of what the new building will look like. You can see 4 stories. Floor plates are approximately 60,000 square feet. That gives you a view of what the new building will eventually look like. As far as materials go, pretty standard for new office buildings. We've got high performance glass glazing. There's a lot of it, as well as precast concrete wall panel and metal panel. So very clean looking office building. And then LPA, if there's anything you'd like to jump in and add there in terms of architecture or design, by all means, jump in there. Okay. The next slides, we've got representative floor plans. Again, we talked about the subterranean basement. So we're going to go 1 floor down and have parking that serves the building in addition to the surface parking. And then in this slide, a little bit difficult to see here, but you'll see that the office component is made up of an EBC, data center, server room. There's labs throughout the building. but it's primarily office space. So first floor, second floor, as we go up the building, you'll see, start to see more office and cubicle layouts. And again, the idea from Arista Networks is to move their current headquarters, which is down on Great America, into this building. Let me get back to the slide of the building so we can speak about the rendering here. Maybe this is a good one to settle on. Just as far as overall schedule, so everybody is aware, currently we're in the process of, with the meeting today, we're going through the planning and entitlement process. Our goal would be to actually start construction Q3 of 2024. So end of summer, early fall this year, depending on how long the permitting process takes us. And then once we start construction, it's going to be a 2-year project. So we would plan on finishing Q3 2026, and occupancy would be Q3, Q4 2026. I think what I'll do at this time is open it up to, first off, I'll ask LPA as part of the project team and the architect, if there's any other comments that you guys would like to add to the presentation. Otherwise, we can open it up for questions.
Yeah, I had a couple of comments. If you can go to the next slide, I just wanted to point out a feature of the building. The bottom slide there and shows a third level outdoor terrace for people to take breaks. It's mostly landscaping. It's limited in how many people can be out there, but it does provide some interesting feature to the building on that elevation, and of course for staff to use it to get some air. The other thing, as you went through the floor plans, you don't have to go back there, but just comment on the data center. It's not a true data center in the sense that it's not mission critical. It's about 20,000 square feet of equipment that's basically Arista's equipment, and they use it for testing. So there's no emergency generation at all for this entire project. There's no big boxes sitting in the parking lot or as a typical data center would have. It would be almost entirely the data center. This is a small portion, and all the testing is basic electronic testing for the equipment that they produce.
Great, thanks, Jim. So at this time, we'll open it up for questions from anybody that's on the call. I don't know, Namisha, did they raise their hand, or is everybody open to chime in?
Yes. Again, this is yeah, you can raise your hand if you have a question.
Danny Mangan did, it looks like.
Oh. Oh, I'm going to allow Danny to talk.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. I don't, so is this a good time for questions or comments just in general?
Yes, fire away.
Perfect. Okay. So I just wanted to, first of all, good evening. My name's Danny Mangan. I'm a union representative with the Sprinkler Fitters, Local 483. And I'm just here tonight. I represent over 500 Santa Clara households who are, not only my members of my local union, but also those that are electricians, sheet metal workers, plumbers, and iron workers. And I'm just speaking tonight as an advocate for high quality union construction being built by our local construction workforces who are being paid, good family supporting wages. I'm also speaking as someone who's been entrusted to advocate for the general welfare of our members who live here in the city of Santa Clara. And what I'm also for is just making sure that Santa Clara's working families get an opportunity to help build it. Um, the city's plan that covers where this project will be built encourages Arista Networks to build the project with a local construction workforce. The plan also details employing apprentices on the project as something that should happen. And just doing this doesn't just help some Santa Clara families who could use the work, but it also helps our community as a whole. Millions of dollars in construction wages can either get spent in Santa Clara small businesses, or those wages can be taken back home to wherever those construction workers live. So I just want to say we've reached out to Arista, and we're hoping that they do what some of the other tech companies have done, and just commit to build this project with the local construction workforce paying good family supporting wages. So I just will keep the community updated on what path Arista takes. So that's all. Just thank you for your time.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate that. Walter, I think I've got you off mute now, so you'll be able to speak. Walter, can you hear us? While we try to get Walter in, I've got a question that came in. How many EV chargers are planned here?
Oh, hold on, I'm not. Hey, fellas, can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you. Hey, Walter.
Okay, is it my time?
It is your time.
Okay, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Good evening. I'm Walter Cray. I'm a Santa Clara resident and member of Local 483. But I grew up here in Santa Clara. I've lived here my whole life. I've lost the bowling alley. Our swim center's going down, and it actually makes me feel good to hear companies are still investing and want to be part of this city. And my kid goes to school here. I own a house here. My wife. If it wasn't for jobs like your guys' jobs and stuff like these types of projects, I wouldn't have been able to buy my house and I wouldn't be able to stay in this area. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But, I'm grateful for you guys investing here and use our union labor. You'd be happy. It's a nice quality product and we're all trained and, keep us going and keep my family here. And I want to pay it forward to these young people behind me and set them off in a good path and let them know, hey, these trades and these companies can keep us in these areas. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks, Walter. Local 483, what union is that?
So we do life safety sprinkler systems.
Okay.
We're pipe fitters. Yes.
Great, thank you.
But yeah, no, thank you for your time, guys.
Thanks, Walter. Okay, and then I'm going to ask LPA to help out here with these questions. So we've got how many EV chargers are planned for the site? I know that it's actually, I'm going to let them answer that question because that has went back and forth a few times as we went through the planning process.
Yeah, absolutely. I can take that one, Jason. As you know, the Santa Clara Reach Code is a EV requirement above and beyond the Cal Green EV charger requirement. So that not only has day one provisions, but also future provisions for EV into the future. So we're meeting the Reach Code of Santa Clara, with which both allows you to provide stalls at different levels of charge. So the key takeaway there is the Reach Code of the 35% of total is being provided, without going into too much detail on it.
And then we've got another question here. It asks, is secure covered bike parking planned? Where and how much? Will it include an option for charging e-bikes and scooters? Most charged with a standard wall outlet.
Yeah, so similarly, the Cal Green Code as well as Santa Clara requires us to provide both short-term visitor bike parking as well as long-term employee bike parking that's fully covered, and it also has receptacles for EV bike charging. So the provisions in the long term, as I believe 62 stalls provided with EV receptacles for e-bikes and scooters.
Okay, please, the person or persons that asked those questions, if we didn't answer them thoroughly, please have a follow-up question.
Yeah. And on the original about the parking stalls, it's a 462 level 2 equivalent provision of EV. There's different levels, tiers that play into that number, but the level 2 equivalent is 462 as required per the REACH code.
Okay, great. Eric, thanks for that help. Appreciate it. All right, I think that's all the questions as of right now.
Yeah, and again, this is Nimisha from the city of Santa Clara. If you're joining by phone, you can press *9. I don't see anybody joining by phone, but in case you are, that way you can raise your hand and we can unmute you and you can ask your question.
Nimisha, is there anything else you'd like us to cover in this presentation?
No, I just if anybody has any questions, just let people think another few minutes. Nothing else to add. I think there is another question that has popped up in the chat.
Okay. Will there be any access to Calabasas Creek Trail from the site?
The answer is no.
Okay. Thanks,
Uh,
Jim.
You know,
Is there, yeah, if you can just expand on it, like why, that would be helpful,
Well,
I believe.
well, there's a very steep slope there,
Mhm.
and to create a pedestrian access, it'd have to be accessible, and it would be an excessive amount of construction on the slope to get anybody from the site up to the path. Also, it's a private property where the owner isn't inviting people onto the property. There's a lot of traffic up there, and he'd prefer them not being on the property.
Again, if you have a question, you can raise your hand now or put it in the chat, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm not seeing any raised hands or any other messages in the chat. The city will be, this meeting is being recorded and we will be posting the recording of this meeting on the city's website on the project page, and it will be available for view. We don't have a set date for the hearing yet, but tentatively we anticipate it to be the development review hearing to be tentatively in late May or June, early June. That's that. We're still working on our environmental, so that will be circulated in the next few weeks. So you can be on a lookout for that. Then I'll just hand it over to Jason again for any
Okay,
closing
great.
remarks. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Nimisha. So again, appreciate everybody who joined, took the time to an interest in our project. Like I said, I guess in the grand scheme of things, we're at the beginning stages, but we've come a long ways. And like Nimisha said, this will be recorded, posted on the city's website. Nimisha, if there's any questions that come in at a later date, we're more than happy to answer those questions, make ourselves available, whatever the best way is to answer those, so that we can keep the community informed as we keep pushing forward through the entitlement process.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, LPA, for joining in and assisting with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care.